Hey, this is Debbie, and for as long as I can remember growing up as a kid in Texas, we had lots of family get-togethers, extended family. It was all of those summer holidays like, Memorial Day and 4th of July and Labor Day. We would always get together and have a big dinner. And it didn't matter what we were having for the main course, whether it was barbecue brisket or burgers or hot dogs or whatever, we always had to have banana pudding. I mean, who doesn't love banana pudding? And I know everybody's got their own recipe, but the person in my family who made it and who made it the best was my Aunt Ruth. Now I gotta tell you, Aunt Ruth hated to cook. I'll just confess that right there. She just didn't like to bother with it. But this is the one thing that she made really well. And so as much as she hated it, people kept requesting it. They would beg for it, in fact, every time we had a meal. Is Aunt Ruth gonna bring her banana pudding? Well, she made it a certain way that we could not duplicate it. We wanted to take the load off of her, but she would never share her secret ingredient to tell us exactly what made it so luxurious and so yummy. So finally, she got tired enough of making it that she shared the recipe with me, kind of passed the torch on so I could do the duties from then on. So I'm gonna let you in on a little secret about what makes Aunt Ruth's banana pudding so good. And we're gonna find out what all we need to make it. Okay, we ready to get started? These are the ingredients that you're going to need. They're basically probably the same ones that you use for the most part in your regular banana pudding recipe. Of course, you're gonna need bananas and some kind of instant vanilla pudding. We use the big box. Make sure you get the 5.1 ounce size. That's what we use. You can use banana cream flavor if you want to kind of oomph up the banana flavor, but this is just vanilla. You're gonna need vanilla wafer cookies, of course. We have a frozen dairy whipped topping and milk. Whether it's 1%, 2%, or whole milk, whatever you happen to have in your fridge is gonna be just fine. But here is Aunt Ruth's secret ingredient that she never would divulge until just a few years ago. This is sweetened condensed milk. It's sinful. This is a whole can of sweetened condensed milk. That's what made it so luxurious. So on second thought, you might want to back off the percentage of your milk to 1% and use some fat-free topping as well, whatever you choose. It's going to be great no matter what. Okay, what you're going to do first is take your instant pudding, just pour that in the bowl, get that all in there. Then you're going to take your milk. This is 1 3/4 cups of milk. So just pour that in with the mix. And here is your sweetened condensed milk. Look at all that ooey gooey goodness. Oh my. Couldn't you just get a spoon and go to town on that? Okay, we won't tell anybody, but I've done that. Okay, now you're gonna take your mixer, turn this on. Start to mix for 2 minutes. You're gonna mix this. All right, so this has been mixing for a couple of minutes, and what we're gonna do before we go on any further is we have to take some plastic wrap and cover this, and we are going to put it in the fridge to chill for about 5 minutes before we can proceed to our next step. So into the fridge it goes. Okay, our pudding mixture has been in the fridge chilling for about 5 minutes, and we took that opportunity while that was happening to slice up our bananas and start making a layer of cookies on the bottom of our 13x9 pan. I chose a glass dish because I like to see the layers and I just think it's pretty. You can choose whatever dish you like, whatever shape, but this is what I go with. So now we're going to take our thawed frozen topping, it was previously frozen, and we're going to just start folding that in to our pudding mixture. This is one of the other things that makes this dish so yummy, so decadent. I mean, wow, this just screams summer as far as I'm concerned. Can't have a family gathering without it. So when you're folding, you're just taking from the bottom and gently pulling and making it incorporate. Okay. Now that we've got all of that folded in, what we're gonna start doing is the fun part. We're gonna start assembling it. It's kind of like a dessert lasagna because we've got a layer of cookies on the bottom, then we start putting our bananas in. There's really no rhyme or reason. You just make kind of a even pattern, put them wherever they will fill in some gaps. because then on top of the layer of bananas is going to go a layer of this luscious pudding and sweetened condensed milk mixture. So we've got the layer of bananas on there, and now we're going to start layering the pudding. Oh my. Just dollop that on. It's going to sink into the crevices, fill in the gaps. And we're going to do this not once, but twice. So we're going to do half of the mixture on this first layer. We'll get all that completed. Then we'll repeat the exact same layer again. We'll go cookies, bananas. We'll finish with the pudding layer. And then I have crumbled some extra cookies up that we'll garnish on top. We'll garnish with a few sliced bananas and whole cookies. And then we get to eat. Okay, now we are finishing up our final layer. This is the second half. So we did, of course, another layer of cookies and then sliced bananas. Now we're doing the rest of the pudding and just cover the top with it so you don't see any holes. You want to use every bit of that goodness. So you've got this all covered from edge to edge. If you can keep your family out of the bowl before it's done so they don't eat it all, you're a better woman than I. But they can certainly have the leftovers and lick the bowl. Okay, so we're done with that. Now just to make it extra pretty, I crumbled up some of the leftover vanilla wafer cookies. And right before we serve it, I just like to crumble these on top. Just gives it another little dimension and another little crunch. And I think makes it look pretty. So get those all spread on, looking lovely. And then I saved a couple of cookies and some slices of bananas. And I like to take those and just put them in the center with a few of the bananas. And then you have just a pretty little design. So there you go. Aunt Ruth's banana pudding. Okay, you didn't think I was going to let you go without trying it, did you? Okay, got to serve up a big old spoonful of it. Oh my goodness, look at that. Wow. And there it is. Aunt Ruth's secret ingredient, banana pudding. Hope you love it as much as I do.